guys?
Oh, fantastic.
I needed a bit of a wash. Glad to see Twitter didn't bog it, so I was happy.
That's right.
Gotta keep the place neat and tidy.
Yeah, well done.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Land Cruiser Club of Victoria meeting. Okay, President's report. Can I get that slide up, please? Unfortunately, we lost partner of a life member. So this is Val Honey, and her husband, of course, was Don Honey, that I'm sure most people, either if they don't know him, would have recognised him from the website where we recognise all the life members. Unfortunately, Val was passed. I only found out about it the day prior to the funeral itself, so there was no notification sent out to the membership about the funeral. Though we did send Don condolences card and some flowers, of course, and he replied with a very nice email, which I think we'll put into the magazine. So Sandra Tanner, if you're listening, that will be forthcoming. And it's a shame because he was a great contributor towards the community earlier on. I spoke to a few members today who knew him back in the day. He hasn't been involved for a while because he's Don's 94 and so was Val. And so they were married for 70 years. Of course, must be absolutely devastating for Don. But they will be, of course, sadly missed because they were integral to the foundation upon which this club was built. And those who I was told, Don did a lot of, and Val, of course, did a lot of trips with John Whitney, who the photographic award is named after. So they got out there and they did stuff, and they were recognised by the membership of the day with a lot of membership. So, anyway, that's the. I hope to keep it a little bit more upbeat, but we need to recognise not only current members but past members by which the club was built upon. Now, there's a certain gentleman in the room here, David McAllister, who's on my left-hand side here. Graham and Veronica Innes have all passed and now are four-wheel drive accredited instructors for the club. So I know Graham and Veronica will be online or Zoom or Facebook. So well done, everyone. Okay. Now, that's all it is for the President's report, other than I went to Rome and had an absolutely fantastic time. Now, there might be some vicious rumours around there about the Zoom getting stuck. All untrue. All untrue. I didn't get recovered once. It was probably 3 or 4 times. So now we have a video. Now, this video was initially put together by our own Gary Cooper. It has been further edited, though, to keep it meeting friendly within time constraints. So I'd like to introduce the first video for the night, which is 2009 Latrobe River Ramble, triple leader by Tony Middleditch, and it's been re-edited by Laurie Miles. And again, of course, it was Gary's video initially. So take it away, gents.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side.
Yeah, looking good. Come through there. Look at this. Stalled it.
It's great, isn't it?
Like a whopper.
I heard about that.
Oh, look at it.
Here it comes, right? Going. I'm not going to leave him yet. Hey, I've got to put the snatch on him. Ah! Oh, come saw it.
It's coming down there.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
Probably let it go down there. Well, you had a bit of trouble there, love, too.
He wants to watch the mud.
She's waiting for love to
Fun? Couldn't see that.
Another fantastic video. Well done to all those on putting together and all this. I've been on a trip with Tony Middleditch leading before. It didn't take me into any terrain that looked anything like that at all. I think he's been holding out on me. I'll have to have a word with him. Moving on. So now we're moving on to the subcommittee reports. First one being driver training with Chris Treble, who'll be coming to us via Zoom, no doubt. So,
Hi, Simon. Can you hear me? Yep.
I've got you there. Welcome, mate.
Good on you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Rather busy month last month up at the Arc for the October month. We had 15 new members have gone through and successfully passed the course. I don't know if any of them are there tonight, but I'd like to read out their names. We've got Philip and Philomena Beagley, Anthony Brand, Oriana Constable, Stefan Duber, Eugene Grift, Caroline Johnson, Jane McCarthy, Robin Museman, Cornell Popov, Alexander and Helen Pill, and David and Diane Woodcroft. So there was 15 in total, all passed with flying colours. It was a really good group, and believe it or not, the weather was absolutely fantastic for a change, which was great. There's a lot of green grass up there at the property at the moment. It's interesting how much it's sprung up over the last, since we're up there the previous months. So I think the maintenance fellows are going to be fairly busy trying to cut that grass down later on when the warm weather warms up. But anyway, we've got our last session for the year is coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend, the 26th and 27th up at the Arc. At this stage, we've had a couple of people pull out, so we've got about 11 participants that are due to come up. So that'll be our last session for the year, and we'll kick off again in February next year. We're not going to run one in January. We'll have a bit of a break. and we'll come back in Feb. I've yet to get the dates up on the website for everyone's benefit. Want to see it, but you might be used to the current format of doing the practical and then doing the theory for a start, which is compulsory to do the theory, and then following on with the practical. It will be advertised in future as a monthly event, so a commitment will be required from a month. There's a lot of people that swap around or they haven't got things ready, so we're going to go back to the old phone system to talk to people to make sure that they've got their vehicles ready, because there's a lot of complications with vehicles and spare parts, parts available, and abilities of servicing agents to fit vehicles out in time from when we do the theory to the practical. So it used to be able to be realised in time, but we find that as the last few months or the last years drag through, it's people can't readily get their vehicles up to the standard required. So anyway, so watch out. So when you see it, if you see it on the thing, what it is, it'll be a monthly booking. It'll run for each of the months, and with the requirement that both components must be done in the same month. And that takes care of our passport issues with the club members, so we can get the passports to them and they can fulfil the rest of their requirements on their passport as they go through the rest of the journey with the club. And I think that's about it, Simon. Thank you. Any questions?
Is there any questions for Chris from the room? No worries. All right. Thanks very much, Chris.
No worries. This one.
Okay, so moving on there. Next is education, and Liz.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the new members here tonight, and also any new members that are at home as well. Yes, it is lovely to be back home after 10 loads of washing over 3 days. I think I'm back to almost normal now. Right now, I have started working on next year. You will have seen that we do have a first aid course coming up at YARC, February 11th and 12th next year. James always does a fantastic first aid course. And what he does is, because now that we do it up at the property, he can go out and do a bush scenarios. So he takes you out to different positions and teaches you different things out in the bush, which makes it a lot more real and helps for you to remember what you've learned. So that's on the net. So book into that. I think I've got about 8 on that so far, but we've got a little while to go yet. March 18th, Saturday the 18th, Sunday the 19th. We've got like a double course that weekend. We've done this before and it's worked out quite well. Sometimes we get, there's a bush mechanics course and there's a trip catering camp cooking course. And quite often one of the partners wants to do the bush mechanics and somebody else perhaps wants to do the camp cooking. So it doesn't matter which way around you do it. If you want to come up as a couple and do it, it's a bit of fun. I usually run the camp cooking. Not that I'm any sort of expert, but what we do is we just talk about the different types of cooking gear, about planning the sort of meals you want, depending on the sort of distance and where you're going. And we swap ideas, and then we do a camp cooking session in the afternoon, and then we have a competition in the Sunday morning with a few prizes. So that's all a bit of fun. And Brad Schaefer, who does the bush mechanics, he's been a club member for many, many years. And he's a funny guy, and he teaches you all sorts of things that you can do out in the bush if you're stuck. Now, they're on the website for booking now. They're not in the magazine because I was a bit late getting it into the magazine, but they are on the website for you to book those at the moment. Now, I'm working on Justin Gill from HEMA to come up again. We did have it booked, I think it was for about May last year, and unfortunately his family all got COVID and we had to cancel it. And I can only get him at certain times of the year because he's going off to different shows and things right across the country. So he's a bit hard to get. So I'm planning on about the second weekend in May for him. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll actually get him this year. Another chainsaw course will be arranged later in the year. They're obviously very Thinking about having dry timber for safety reasons. So obviously we're not going to be able to do anything with that for a while. And also we have to be careful too when we have him to do that, because we have to watch sparks and things if it's likely to be a bushfire situation. So I can only get them to come at certain times of the year. So later on in the year, we'll organise something. Possibly we might be able to get David to run another tyre repair course during the year. I'm sure he will. And also our president here. Maybe we'll do another, what do you call it? Bearings, maybe a bearings course or something. We'll CV one for next year. So I'm working on a few different things. So just stay tuned. And with that, I think that's about it for the moment. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Liz. And apparently I'm running a bearing course. No worries, I don't mind. I'm sure that one of the cars will need doing at some stage. Okay, now is Viv available? I haven't seen her in the room. Is Viv available on Zoom tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay, g'day Viv, and it's all yours. Welcome.
Oh, I was trying to hide the video because I can't. I'm on my phone and it's not a real good look. Can see up my nose and everywhere. We've only got one trip advertised at the moment that's got participants available, and that's a recce by Brian and Rita, and they're doing a blue rag trip in January. That's the recce for the 50th anniversary. So they're looking for people to come along and have a good time. We're up at Yark at the moment and waiting for crew to come at the start, but we're just sort of watching the meeting and enjoying ourselves up here. So that's all I've got to say. So I'll leave you with it. Thank you.
Beauty. Thanks very much, Viv. Fantastic. Is there any questions for Viv? No worries. Okay, next up we have Mr. Mills, John Mills, to tell you all about the just recently run 2022 WA gathering. And he might have a little tidbits and before the magazine, some specials to show everyone. Thanks, John.
Please note, I've actually written notes tonight. I've got a lot to say. I'll start at the front page. Okay, this is some quick background on the gathering in WA. The gathering, Liz and I were in WA 2 years ago, and or 2.5 years ago, and WA were already all over this. They'd already arranged where they were going to go, and they'd already got subcommittees heads set up, and they were planning. Okay, just think about that. Just store that one away. Okay, they had one event organizer, one event organizer, and several subcommittees he oversaw. So it all worked very well, and there was no problems. In August, they sent out invitations to the states. This is August last year, to organise a contingent to go to the gathering, and Victoria obviously actively promoted that. Now, at one stage, we had over 50 people wanting to go to the West, and we actually ended up with 29 vehicles. Sorry, we had 50 vehicles wanting to go west. We ended up with 29 vehicles and 54 participants. Now, we didn't quite make our quota because our quota was 40, but we did pretty well. There were no formal trips organised one way or the other, but Neil Chambers did actually organise a spreadsheet that you could log into, and you could put where you were going to be or where you were going to travel, so people could latch up and perhaps camp the night even if they didn't travel all the way together. And Michael Burke over here, created or put together a WhatsApp, and that was really magic. That was probably the most exciting thing that happened with the club during that period. The chit chat that went on the WhatsApp was really fantastic. Everyone was talking about it. Fuel here is so much. Fuel there is so much. Don't go here. The toilets are dirty. It was really quite good stuff. So even though we didn't have a trip, we had a massive communication amongst the group. So the site in WA was a caravans park about 10 kilometres from Dunsborough at a place called Annie Brook. The park's only 3.5 years old. It's still being developed. They're still waiting for trees to grow. But it had well laid out and large sites. The camp kitchen was the gathering place each night, and the toilets and laundry were clean and well serviced. And bear in mind, we had the TLCC clubs had exclusive use of the property, very important. Most people moved in on the 13th and were welcomed by the TLW, by the WA mob, because they'd moved in a few days beforehand. The first night they had a get-together night at the camp kitchen, and the day after the organised trips started. And they could be booked a month ahead. There was a little bit of contention about that because if you weren't quick, you missed out. So they offered casual trips, which you could book in. They gave you a mud map and some instructions, and you could drive do a safe drive trip. The first day was the conference day, and that was held off-site. And that was for WA, New South Wales, South Australia, and Queensland, and Victoria were all there. Northern Territory, unfortunately, didn't send anyone. Lots of topics that were discussed were vehicle compliance, state to state, driver training standards, state to state, and state trends, what each state was up to at the time. A separate report has been submitted to the committee, and also, I believe, the minutes have now arrived from WA. Organised trips were run for the next 3 days, and each night we were summoned to the camp kitchen by Piper, who just happened to be the vice president. And it was a good way to let everyone know that something was going to be happening in the camp kitchen. Oh, I forgot to do this. You didn't remind me, Laurie. Yes, please. I'll zip through the slides quickly. I was going to do this while I talked. I was going to try and be ambidextrous as well. So I'll go through these reasonably quickly. These are not in any particular order. It's not working for me, Laurie. I'm trying to. You did tell me. Let's try that one. Is that working now? Okay. So here we go. So this I'll run through this quickly. This was the guys who were at the conference. I've gone the wrong way. Now I should be right. I'll do it around here. So each state has a separate badge, by the way. Victoria is the only one that has a standard badge, and we followed New South Wales, and that's a bit of a chain. And I think it's time maybe we went back to having a badge that reflects our state, as the other states have done. So I'll run through these. That's with a badge, of course. So here's the camp kitchen. This is the area we gathered every night. Most of the activities each night invariably involve food. The Western Australians certainly know how to eat. So every night we got fed well. The only night was perhaps a little bit of a disaster was the night we went to the vineyard next door, and they were not really up to the numbers that they were being asked to cater for. Okay, well, there was a formal dinner, and that was held off-site at Busselton. Is it not going? What have I got to do here, Laurie? I've got to stand on my head as well, have I? No. Was it not going, Laurie? Just give me a flat battery. Can you click it on, Laurie? Just keep clicking them on. Okay. There was a formal dinner that was held off-site at Busselton, and the West Australians laid on buses to get us there, so we could go quite happily, and you could eat, drink, and be merry, and not have to worry about coming home. Another very good night out. And the last night, just keep them going. Just keep clicking them over. And the last night was, okay, that doesn't matter, Laurie. And the last night was a farewell dinner. We were told we would get a bit of pulled lamb in a roll. It ended up being pretty much another full meal. Very welcome. It gave a chance for everyone to have a good chat and get together. Each state was asked to do a skit. It's not moving. But I say this is a picture actually of the kitchen area. But by the way, Victoria's ended up that their skit was the best, and I'd like to thank Liz and her little team that she put together. They thought it out, and we had. Well, hopefully we'll see it in a minute, but our end up was quite good, and we were complimented by the other states. So here's a few little numbers for you. Victoria had 29 vehicles go to WA. New South Wales had 6. South Australia had 21. Queensland had 6. WA had 22 vehicles there. So there was a total of 84 vehicles. That means 84 campsites. So it's quite a large sort of setup. Over 50% of those campsites were filled with caravans, and half a dozen were filled with large caravans. So those are things that we must consider going forward. So seeing that Western Australia is a very small club, only 100 members, not memberships, members. The gathering was run successfully. It was run. There wasn't really a hitch other than the dinner which someone else was supplying, you know, we should be proud. We should be proud that we're associated with a club like that. So 1/3 of our membership was actively involved in running this activity. So it's a damn good effort. So now it's our turn. We're not getting there because I had bits here that I wanted to be at now. Okay. Well, we'll get this in a minute. I'll talk through the slides as we get to them. But now it's our turn. So it'll be different. Trust me, it will be different. I doubt very much we can run an activity such as they ran there. We can get close. We can do something different. We can do it better, something else different and better, but we can't do it the same. But it's got to be good, and it will be good. All right. So that's the challenge for 2025. It's only 2.5 years away because we can't really run ours here in October. So it looks like we're going to go through the slides again. Thank you, David. Keep them rolling. So this was the, this was the delegates club badge, Queensland. You can see the map. This was Nesta. She's the president over there. Loves to get in front of the camera. Keep it going. This is one of South Australia's emblems they have. They have different ones. Come on, keep it going. This is a part of the dining area, the canteen. This is the badge that we have. As I said before, this is the camp kitchen area. Camp kitchen area, as you can see, this is our members. Keep it going, Dave. There you go. This is Queensland's badge. Oh, I recognise those people. Somebody's having some fun. Back into the camp kitchen area, you can see it was well set up, lots of tables and chairs. This is a picture from all these pictures, by the way, have come from people who travelled over there. This was one of the trips I went on. This is a large campsite area, which we were lucky enough to get into. These are the food. This night you bought stuff from the wok, but the other night the other dish is a dish they served up for nothing. So here you go. Here's the club magazines. I'm sorry, they cost a lot of money. I was hoping we get other months, but we had to print a new run. This is the closing ceremony. You can see we all sit around a campfire, looking like high country people. This is Liz reading her abortion of poor old who was it? Rendition. Oh, sorry, that was the one of the man from Snowy River. We showed a movie. This is part of our inviting people to come across to us. And keep going. This was me just about to receive the award, which I will now give to Simon. So that was it. Now in there, inside, there is a message for the president.
I was going to have food.
No, I'm going to put you on the spot now. So I think you should open it and read it. Maybe you should read it privately.
What did you guys get up to?
I don't know, but you kept calling her Nita and not Nesta. Anyway, so that's it. 2025, we've got to be ready. So I'm sure Simon will talk more about that later.
Okay. Well, this is very intriguing. I will read that. And if it's G-rated or even PG-rated, everyone else will get to have a read as well. Although I have heard stories. Is there any final questions for John in regards to the national gathering? No worries. Oh, look, mate, on behalf of the committee and the general membership, I'd like to thank John and of course lovely Liz there. As a big thank you from the club for taking the lead on the national gathering and coordinating everything. So well done, guys. Moving on from there, next one is Alison Williams in Geelong. So she'll be coming to us via Zoom, I believe.
Thank you, Simon.
G'day,
Hello,
Alice.
everyone. Thank you. Great report. Thanks, John. It sounds like a wonderful trip and a lot of work for our new committee. We had a great social at Mav's Greek restaurant. It's a really wonderful Greek restaurant if you're looking for authentic Greek food, family-run restaurant. Had quite a few, and you'll see lots of photos on Facebook. We had a report at our meeting from Alan Kennedy on his road trip. Got a bit boring because all we saw was him pulling out a Suzuki all day. He said it was about 9 times. Is that right, Simon? And then we had a report from John Price about the West Australian gathering. Our Christmas barbecue is Saturday, the 26th of November. You're all welcome to book in online, please. It's at Bunjil Lookout Moor, so it's nice and easy to get to from Geelong. You can camp there overnight, free camping with all amenities. Thanks, Simon.
Thanks very much. And just as a quick note, they unfounded about the Suzuki, nothing happened at all.
We watched them.
Despite the high resolution video that was doctored, hopefully. I tell you what, they're getting better and better at that After Effects. Okay, thanks very much. Next one, Brian Stewart. Would like to welcome Brian Stewart up here. All about Yark.
Thanks, Simon. Evening, everyone. Good to see you guys back from your trip over to the west. We certainly missed quite a few of you up at Yark at the weekend and last month. So, because they're team members that just do things, and it just meant that a lot of those things just didn't happen this last month. So that's good. Anyway, the weekend just gone was also set up weekend for Cruisacana, and I think that went pretty well, considering the weather. We had plenty of rain. Not during the day, but sort of late afternoon, and most of 2 nights, I think it rained. So everything up there is extremely wet. And as probably mentioned before, I think it was Chris mentioned about the grass. Yes, we cut a whole lot of grass last month, and it was just as long again this month. But there was a team got out there with whippersnippers, mowers, and the douches, and did a whole heap of work on that. So it should be looking good for the Cruisacana. And this was also our last maintenance weekend for the year. Our next one will be in January. So when you go up there, just sort of try and keep an eye on things. And if you think that looks a bit untidy, tidy it up. And just be very, very careful when you're driving around up there on the tracks, because it's very, very wet and muddy. So if it's we had a couple of incidents at the weekend with people getting stuck where they probably shouldn't have gone, particularly towing trailers. And yeah, anyway, it was a good weekend. So and I'd like to thank all the team for the effort that they've put in over the year. We had 24 up there this last weekend, and there were 4 or 5 new members, so that was great. And over the year, the past year, we've had 257 member visits for the maintenance weekends. The exact number of people that was, I'm not too sure, but I'll do a count on that so we can work out. Because the regular team are there nearly every month, and that sort of bumps the numbers up. But okay, well, we shall see you up at Yark at some stage, and enjoy.
Well, on behalf of the membership, and thanks to Brian and his team for keeping Yark in such fantastic condition. So when we go up there, you know, the wood poles high, and everything is cut and everything's in great condition. So thanks again, guys. Okay, moving on from Yark, we have a social. Now I did see Grace floating around here.
This is one of the actions. Hi, everyone. Okay, I'm just, we've got about 2-3 days to go before registrations close for the Christmas party that we're having, Christmas picnic. It's going to be at Norton's Park. And yeah, so if everyone's welcome to come, but if you're bringing kids and you'd like Santa to give them a present, please go to the website and then register your children. So I know names, ages, etc. So they get a present from Santa. Apart from that, the only other thing coming up is next year is our bush dance. So again, that should be a really good night if you're, I mean, I know there's plenty of time, but it's going to be a maintenance weekend. So again, just go in and book in online for the bush dance next February. And that's all I got for at the moment. We'll just get these out of the way and then we'll start thinking of the new ones to come. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Grace. So don't forget, grab your children, grab your neighbours' children, grab your sister's children, grab some random children. I mean, I was really happy when I got kids because I could go and watch the kiddie animated flicks at the movies, was guilt-free. And then the kids got a bit older, but then the grandkids came. So Sherry and I are back watching the animated flicks, which are the best ones. Okay, so moving on from there, we have Four-Wheel Drive Victoria. I don't believe Eric Bishop is in the room. Is he online? He's not online either. Okay, no worries. So the only thing that I've noted in there is the resignation of Dulcie Watts. So again, we thank Dulcie for her dedication to the role as a Four-Wheel Driving delegate over the journey. And she's now been, the position has been reappointed with Marcus. Okay, moving on from there. Was there any questions in regards to that? No worries. Okay, so we'll move on now to Laurie Moles with the webmaster report.
What a night. Certain things go wrong. They all go wrong. Yes, we had trouble trying to connect to the camera and even got trying to get David's laptop connected and it wouldn't work. And then he finally got it to work, I think, didn't you, eventually? And then we got it back to mine and it started working again. And then we ran the PowerPoint presentation and it froze on my PC and then I couldn't close it. So and that interrupted John's presentation, unfortunately. So we quickly copied it to an external drive and I gave it to Dave. Just one thing on things for meetings. When you can, it's really great if you can gift stuff to whoever's hosting the meeting early. What we do is we actually then go and put it up in our OneDrive and then we share it with the team so they all can access the stuff so that if my PC doesn't work, David could just basically jump straight in and get it. That's where it's good. The other thing about getting stuff to us early, especially videos, which you found out a few months ago, if there's copyright music in there, poor old Facebook just falls over and says, copyright, we're not going to do it. So what we do is we do a test with all videos before the meeting through our moderator's Facebook page and see whether it falls. And the two tonight didn't fall, which is good. A few months ago, a couple falls, so we had to change the music. Grace, you remember the one we did for James's video that had music in it and Facebook didn't like it. YouTube liked it and said it was copyright, but you'll accept it. But Facebook said, no, won't accept it. So we had to put some other music in it. So they're the frustrating things that go on. I mentioned last month about anyone who's got IT experience and can help us with our team because we are developing all the time and we would like to get bigger because we have so many things to do and we like to share the load. These guys over on my left here work pretty hard and get pushed to the limit at times. And they would like to have a month off every now and then. And so if we've got some people who do have that IT experience where they could help, feel free to put your hand up. There's a lot of things that we can get you to do behind the scenes or at meetings. So that's about it from me. Has anyone got questions for me? No. Yeah, you got your hand up. No, you're scratching your face. Sorry, Darren. Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie. I don't think he was asking a question. I think he was placing a bid. Okay. All right. Now, moving on from there. Cruiser Khan, I don't believe Forge is in the room, but would you like to come up and...
I'm online.
Oh, sorry, he's on Zoom. Sorry, Forge.
How are we all?
Forge.
We're up at Yark. Can you hear me?
You certainly can.
All right,
Okay.
fantastic. So big weekend last weekend. We had a whole bunch of people up here, as Brian said. There was a lot of people doing a lot of work across the property. This week, Tony Swindon and I and Baz and Viv have been helping around the property. So we've set up most of the events. There was water. There is a lot of water. It is running off into that bog hole is full. So it's running off fairly well. We've got 27 competitors this year. That's more than 2019. That's a huge effort. So, you know, it's a fantastic effort that that people are still interested in the event, want to participate. So that's fantastic. We've got $17,000 worth of prizes. That's fantastic. That our sponsors, you know, supporting the event as well. So it does show that Cruisacana is of interest to people and there's something worthwhile to be doing. I just want to be able to say before the weekend to shout out to the committee. You know, we've been going for 3 years trying to run this event, and you know, we all sort of tag team and take responsibility for different bits and pieces, and it has been a team effort. So thank you to the committee. So Rob, Darren, Shane, in particular. There have been others that have supported us along the way. For example, Rick and co. So thank you to everyone there. Thank you to Yark management. You know, without their help and ongoing support with Brian's leadership, this couldn't be possible. So I just want to say thank you to all those people before the event, because it is a huge turnout. We're excited about having so many people. I think there is still more to come. 1 or 2 more people wanted to sign up, and we'll work that out later in the week. We're excited about the event. Yes, it's wet up here. We've thought about that and sort of made arrangements so that we can conduct the event. And so we're wanting to, first of all, host those competitors and ensure that they have a great time while they're here, but also welcome those club volunteers, because it's a big gathering for us. And so it only happens every once in a while. And there's only a few occasions when we come together as a group. So overall, we'll have 100 people up at the property on the weekend. Simon, we look forward to seeing you on the weekend as well. But really, it's a real big thank you for everyone to get us to where we are today. And so I just wanted to say thank you around that. We're raring to go. It's No Pants Tuesdays here. So Barry and Tony are walking around with our pants on. So, you know, we're all having fun. It's a bit cold for that to be doing that, but we're having fun. So they're all talking to me now. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks very much, George. Good to see your smiling face again, mate. Yes, I'll be up there on the weekend armed with a camera. So if you're up there with a camera, smile, okay? If you don't smile, where the footage is going straight up onto the video. All right, that's Cruisacana. Now we'll do a quick check of Q&A there, David, if there's anything on Q&A.
No Q&A at the moment.
No Q&A, and there's no questions from the room currently. John, we have a question.
I just asked Simon when he's going to open the scroll, because everyone wants to know what's in it.
I'm assuming something's going to pop out. No?
No, I don't think so.
Explode, perhaps?
I think
Set
it'll
on
just
fire.
be a letter to you, Simon.
Okay. I will endeavour to open it over this video then. So speaking of videos, now we have a video from 2009. So it's a flashback. Plenty Lakes. Now the Triple E's here with Jan and Ron Mason, and the video's been re-edited for the meeting purposes by Viv. So thanks, Viv, for that. So 2009, Plenty Lakes, and off we go. Thank you.
Righto, one of the reasons we've come out on this trip is to replace the visitors book at the Lambert Centre. Now we've just arrived, and all the group now is finally together. We've just drawn straws to see who's actually going to do the signing in the new book. Okay, there's Jan. Are you the first edition in the new book, Jan?
TLC 756.
Beautiful.
Starting new book and start of trip.
Another use for a jerry can. Yeah, well, here we are. This is posterity actually being performed here, folks. That they say two wrongs don't make a right, but in this case, two wrongs do make a right. We're about to place the new book. Okay, we've just pulled up a Pernie Bore for a bit of lunch on Monday, with the ladies enjoying just a bit of company with each other. And of course we've got the guys over here talking about all things mechanical. Some of the view of where we are at the moment. That's Ron coming over the sand dune. A nice happy hour around the campfire. Okay, we've just left our campsite from last night, and we're heading towards the geographical centre of the Simpson, but as you can see there's no tracks we're following at the moment, just straight cross country. We've only got 4.5 k's to go. There's Ron right up the front. I think he's going to make that.
See if Ray can do it. Off you go, Ray. Go, go, go. Get it the way, Gary. No, I better make it either.
We made it, folks. We made it to the geographical centre of the Simpson after a bit of a hard grind this morning. Here we are, signing the visitors book at the geographical centre of the Simpson. Just winding our way back to where we were at camp last night after visiting the geographical centre. Okay, we've finally arrived at Plenty Lakes, and this is a magnificent site where we are now. After all the rough and tumble we've had over the last, I don't know, 5 days, 6 days, this is just beautiful here. Looks like a camel train ahead. Just come across some sand formations forming a bit of a cliff face. And you can see just in there little birds' nests that have been formed in the side of the cliff. Okay, well as you saw we got into the Hay River okay, and we've just got to drive along now till we can find a way out. Just building a bit of a runway out of the Hay River. Tunny's up, and so far this is the best spot. Ron's going to have another crack at it. Beautiful.
Oh, trying to have a go at it.
We're actually heading now for Madigan's Camp 16. One of the many plaques at Madigan Camp 16. You're signing the visitors book at Camp 16. Things have come to this, folks. We've run out of things to wear, so Anne's been given the job of trying to clean up a few things, mainly shirts and socks. You're doing a great job there, Anne. Well, I think if you look around behind you, you've got a queue of people with their washing as well. We've just come across this sand dune and we've come across this. This is unbelievable. Okay, we're just driving through the Garden of Eden here at the moment. It's just incredible. This is the results of the Air Creek flooding. We've come to the Air Creek and we're looking to find a way across it. Here we are. We've got the second crossing of the Air Creek. The two Rons are going to try to save each other. This is that water I see running out of that 100 series. Folks, just to prove we've been there, the blue eel is outside the Birdsville Park.
So just as special events, now Sandra's unavailable, so she sent through something for me to have a quick readout. So the 50th anniversary, so your club's turning 50 years old next year, obviously. Be wonderful for members to make their booking to help celebrate this very special event. The caravan park is starting to take bookings from regulars. So if you're intending on coming, you better get in, otherwise you'll miss out, literally, on staying with everyone else. And it would be disappointing, obviously, if we cannot all get together. So please book your accommodation and the Saturday evening meal via the club website as soon as possible. And it's really easy to do. I know I did it for both myself and the daughter. So myself and the good lady wife are going, and one of the kids and her kids are coming as well. So it should be a great, great fun time. In addition to that, we have the Geelong show coming up. When is that? The show is open from Friday the 20th to Sunday the 22nd of January. So not too far away, really. Just once we get Christmas out of the way, we got the Geelong show. It's always a great recruiting opportunity for the club. So if you're available to help, you get free entry and you have a chance to look around as well. Pick up some goodies, you know, bank it up on the credit cards, worry about it later. Yeah, so even if you can only help half a day, that'll be fine. So we need the assistance. So if you can get down there during that time of year, down to Geelong, that'd be great. Email events@tlccv.com.au. Is there any questions in regards to those two? No worries. They're all waiting with bated breath, John, I believe. Okay. Now I had to edit this. Did you have anything to do with writing this one, mate? No, I'm joking. All right. So it's basically an email from Nesta, Bar President, National Event Committee, and the Executive Committee of WA. It's to myself, the committee, your committee, and members. And the topic is the next TLCC National Gathering Conference Day in Victoria, of course, as we all know. It says, thank you, Victoria, for putting up your hand, accepting the baton from WA to hold the next coming together of state clubs. A strong Western Australian contingent will travel across the desert when Victoria send out the call. WA extends goodwill to all Victorian committee members and a hearty cheers saying, good luck to you all, let the games begin. Signed, Nesta, who's president of WA. So thank you, Nesta, if you're watching, well done. So we do take up that challenge, of course. It wouldn't be like us not to. All right, now moving on from there, we've general business. Now, as far as we have a question from John. Can we get a microphone down to John, please?
Thank you. Seeing as there was no report from Four-Wheel Drive Vic, there was the AGM last night. The committee's gone through unopposed. There's been a couple of resignations been re-elected so that they get themselves back to having an equal split between each year. So half the committee go on, half the committee go off.
Yep.
They have also started proceeding with the quarry for their training centre. They've now got gates on the front of it so they can stop the vandals from getting in there. The other thing, I don't know whether it's been reported, but Eric is now part of the National 4x4 Association, and they have confirmed, this is not on the committee from last night, but they've confirmed that they'll pay for the materials to upgrade the Lambert Centre and bring it back to the condition it should be. They're looking at cooperating with a club from Alice Springs, and they're also looking for some support from people here. So there will hopefully be a trip organised next year that will go through there, which we can tie in with Alice Springs, and that renovation work will be done.
Beauty, thanks very much. So no doubt you'll get some more information in regards to that in the weekend wrap. Okay, so on to the Hook Award. Should I just hand it to Laurie?
No, no. It's
Okay.
Vivian.
All right. Do we have any nominations for the Hook Award?
Vivian's got a nomination.
Yes. Zoom. We have a Zoom nomination for the Hook Award.
Yes.
We cannot highlight anyone.
It's a double header.
I don't know if they can hear me. Can you hear me, Simon? It's Vivian. Vivian. Viv.
Yeah. Okay, Viv, can you please mute yourself if you can hear this? Okay, so do we have any nominations for the Hook Award? Now, for those who aren't familiar
Yes.
with the Hook Award, if you've done something silly,
Viv's got a nomination.
you're in for runnings for the Hook Award. The sillier, the better, basically.
Simon, it's Forge here.
As long as Viv's not
Viv's trying
nominating
to
me.
nominate someone for the Hook Award.
Okay, righto. So are we able to highlight Viv? No?
Yep. No, I'm hiding.
She's hiding.
Now you
Have we
do
got
it.
Viv's
So,
audio
so
there?
we've got one individual. So let me start with the events of the day. I come into the Ark property and I hear a Mayday call for help. And I'm like, well, that's crazy. What's happening on the property? Anyway, lo and behold, there was someone stuck where they shouldn't have been. And so it took us I think it took 3 hours. People said it took an hour. It felt like 10. But we had 3 cars involved to recover this vehicle that had a trailer on the back, and there was Shane there, poor Shane running up and down the hill, earning his stripes as the recovery lead until we got this person out. Then you'd think that'd be the end of it. Then today, this individual left his car with his keys in it and locked the doors. We're getting some murmurs in the room. And then it took another few hours to get his doors open by the RACV. So I'd like to nominate Tony Swindon. It almost has to be for 6 months.
Yep. Thank you. Can we see that one? Oh, yes, we can see that. Okay. Can people see where the lines are there? Where are those lines?
Somebody was in a great rush to get into the chocolate factory. Does anybody recognize the car?
Neil Chambers, yes. So the nomination is Neil Chambers dying that much that he wanted a sugar fix at the chocolate factory that he couldn't actually park his car straight. And the final one, I don't think this one's Laurie Miles. I think it was 5 or 10 minutes we started. Now, it mightn't have been all your fault, mate, but you're leading the charge, so you're in trouble. It all falls on the head of the leader, correct. Now, so we started about 10 minutes late. No, it wasn't 10 minutes late. It was about 5 minutes late. The PowerPoint of John Mills worked so well. We lost audio and a video. What else was it? Oh, yes, we didn't have a camera to start off with. I think that was the third camera we tried. Okay. All right. So as per usual, it goes by the loudness of the applause. So first up, we've got Tony Bogged Swindon. Round of applause for Tony. I think the loudest noise was coming back here. I think it's okay. And next, I can't park Neil Chambers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, David. I think Tony might be out ahead. Could be. Now for the major competition. Laurie, I don't know IT Miles. Congratulations, sir. Well, do we want to let him near any of the IT stuff, really? No, well done, mate. It's all a bit of fun. I'm just going to zip tie it to the back of his bike. Okay, ladies and gents, I'd like to call this meeting to a close at 8:31 in the PM. Thank you all for your attention this evening. Thanks for everyone for coming. And don't forget, we're socialising out the back there soon. That's the most important part of the night. I'll mention it.